One of my colleagues earlier said, why are we afraid of the truth? Well, I'm not afraid of the truth, but about 90% of what I heard from my Democrat colleagues was untruthful as it relates to this bill. And I'll go through in minute detail. So for instance, it was alleged that this will get rid of black fraternities and black student unions. Well, that means you didn't read the bill, because in line 772, it says nothing in this section prohibits a state institution of higher education from complying with any state or federal law to provide disability services or to permit student organizations, including fraternities and sororities. It's right there in the text. Again, individuals said that this was going to whitewash history and our ancestry, right, and our past. It was going to suppress free speech in the classroom. We were going to dictate what subjects we couldn't talk about. I would simply say, look at line 768, where it literally says nothing in this section prohibits faculty or students from classroom instruction, discussion, or debate, as long as the faculty member allows the student to express intellectual diversity. Equity is just a closeted way of trying to put in quotas. That's all it is. If you believe that a room full of 100 people has to have 13 black members because that's the breakdown of society and you only find 5 qualified candidates, how do you get to your 13-member quota? You have to drop the standard in order to get more minorities in the room. Well, what does that do for the 5 members that got there based off their merit? What does that do for me, who has a Juris Doctorate, my wife who has a master's degree and has served in corporate rooms for 20 years? What does that do for me, who was already in the room? What happens is the other 87 members look at all of us as though the reason we're present is because of the DEI policies. You diminish my presence there based off my merit because you want to try to provide for a phantom land where every boardroom, every university, every classroom, every chamber should represent equally the diversity of the United States. I know what I believe DEI is, and I believe truthfully it is simply a way the left is using the minority community, the black community, to get their agenda in. That's what I believe, but don't let facts get in the way of my feelings. So let's just look. Black Enterprise magazine, a staple in the black community, wrote an article noting a study where nationwide, of all chief diversity officers in corporate America, how many of you think are black? 4%. 4%. 78% white. Well, let's look at the actual study that it cites. Right? You can come and see it by Zippa, looking at these professions. 76.1% white, 3.8% black. Well, let's keep going. In 2011, 3.78% of all chief diversity officers in the United States were black. 10 years later, in 2021, the time of this study, 3.78% were black. We had DEI policies the whole time. We didn't gain a percentage point. We didn't gain a percentage point, but during that same time, white women gained more in that same study. How do we know? Well, we can look at some other studies. Here's Forbes magazine. Who actually, this is what the title is, who benefits from diversity and inclusion efforts? Well, let's see. It's cited, according to another McKinsey study, white women hold nearly 19% of all C-suite positions, while racial and ethnic minority women hold only 4%. Overall, white women have benefited disproportionately from corporate DEI policies. Don't let facts get in the way of your feelings. Let's look at Crimson, Harvard University. When we were studying diversity, equity, and inclusion in administration and the admissions process at universities, They went and asked white students whether or not they supported DEI. Overwhelmingly, they said yes. But let's see why. White students at elite universities tend to view affirmative action favorably, most often because they believe diversity benefits them personally, according to the study published in the Harvard Graduate School of Education by Professor Natasha Warrico. Warrico interviewed almost 100 white students at Harvard, Brown, and Oxford. It was sometimes problematic because they saw affirmative action as something to benefit themselves, the white students, rather than a policy that was about justice or racial equality or access. Her research also demonstrated that white students typically believe they want admission to their respective schools based on merit alone. By contrast, many white undergraduates said they believe Black and Latino students benefited from affirmative action, and that's why they were on campus. See, all that did was reinforce racial stereotypes.
Also see this. White women with at least a college degree, the only group of white voters that really kind of is on the left politically, aligned with progressive causes, democratic politics. Give you an example here. It's that DEI question, right here that we asked about in our poll. We had two big statements we read to voters. Basically, do you want to continue DEI programs or do you think they should be ended? And again, look at this divide here. White men, no degree, end it. White men with a degree, end it, they say. White women, no degree, end it, they say, by double digits. And then white women with a college degree.
Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Black Westchester Magazine is the news with the Black point of view.